Get started. So, do you have any doubts on the yesterday's?
I mean, I
Session?
haven't had any hands-on for now, so
Okay, I think it is better to do on the hands-on. Otherwise, if I keep on explaining concept-wise, you'll at the time you'll be able to understand. If you're not able to continue or if not able to do hands-on, so you'll forget everything.
yeah.
So it's better you do on that day or something like you are convenient. So this is not strict. So this is, my personal suggestion is you just do hands-on on that day only. Otherwise,
Oh,
you do at least twice a day or something. 2 days once or 3 days once or weekly twice or something.
okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
yesterday we covered about the built-in directives, template input variables, and today I'm going to cover ng switch and a few input template reference variables like how to read only the text box value, or if you want to do inner HTML properties in Angular. So we are not using here any jQuery for the DOM manipulation. So Angular will support the DOM manipulation on its own way. And pipe, so we are covering the pipe for today class, and other things, services, and share data between two sibling components. Yesterday we saw the sharing data between two components. The relation is parents and child, but here we are able to cover, for the today's session, only for the two sibling components, because there are many relation happens between the components, parent, child, siblings, and different modules. And sibling component, the components are which are in a two same level. Okay, so before going to start, so I'll be covering with the another directive ng switch, so I'll show you that. Okay, so we'll use some div. Okay, and inside that I'll be using this one. Conditionally you can show the this one. It will help in terms of you if you want to show the multiple validation, right? In that case it may help for you.
Okay.
And switch, this switch, and I'm providing the person name here. I'll use different person names or section wise. Yes. Section name or message name, message section. Okay, and here I'll use the property code ng switch case, and here I'll provide that value. So section 1 and use section. Okay, and this is section 2, section 3, and section 4. So this is the content, section 2, section 3, section 4. Okay, now I'll create this a variable inside my component. Okay, here any after before constructor, this is a way to declare a variable. So that type string, or I can use directly as a value here. So section 1. Let's see. So my this value might be coming from some backend, or conditionally you can update the value for this. So in that cases, this section will should display. Let's see. So I'm running that application. We'll come to Angular. I think we have to use structural directives for this, because this is altering the HTML structure. Okay. Okay, now see, section 1 is displayed. Able to see the output, and I will change to section 2. section 2 is displayed. So it is matching the condition. It's basically the switch case in the JavaScript. So here I'm providing the value for that, and here I'm assigning the value, and it is matching with this condition, and it check for this condition, it is getting displayed. And this can be helped in showing the multiple validation messages, or if you want to show some section, this might be div, this might be any HTML, or this might be any component as well. Okay, so instead of this you can use so user inside this, this one, right? So I can use user2 component. So let's see what is that user2 component. I can use, this is my selector, or I can create, I can use parent component. It's not only for HTML, you can use it for I'll go to my user component here. Instead of this, I can use this as well, app parent, and let's try for this. If this is section, what happens? Okay, I will comment out this. Okay, let's see the output. So currently no, because I'm matching with section 1 value here, so I need to update to section 1. Let's see the parent and child one, because that is conditionally displaying. See this one, app and parent components getting injected inside section 1. So this is a div. So you can use this condition for component or any HTML or any component of the HTML or any element of the HTML you can use it for. Okay, is this clear?
Yeah.
So this is a public properties. It may come from your for loop, it may come from your dynamic value, it may come from anything.
Okay.
So this is how you have to match it. It's like your same else if condition or switch condition in your JavaScript. Okay,
Yeah.
this is done. And this with direct is done. So we'll cover with how to access input variables or any variable. Suppose for any component in the TypeScript. Suppose for example in jQuery you have like access DOM, right? Dollar hash, using basically to read a DOM values, DOM object of that particular element. But here in this HTML, in this Angular, we have a different way. So I'm creating input, okay, and of that type text, type is equal to text, and I'm creating a variable here, okay, like see, this is a view child which is provided by Angular. So my text, okay, and this auto provide, and it accept some few parameters like something like this. This the default syntax for to use a view child. View child is basically it will give access of that HTML element inside TypeScript. Okay. Now I'll use type element ref. Okay. Now how to how to establish link between this variable of type element ref to the HTML element using the hash notation. Hash like this. Now we developed a relation between the HTML element which has a text, which has using the properties, and here the text with the variable name inside the TypeScript. Now let's see what happens. So I'll attach a click event for that, or I can attach click event for anything. Okay, I'll attach click event for this. Otherwise, I can create a button here. Okay, read text box, the value of that button. I mean, click. This is how you have to attach an event. on read text. Okay, I'll be creating this method in this my HTML, sorry, in TypeScript. Now I need to show to the user the value of the text box. Okay, this dot, what is it, my text, right? My text and native element dot value. So you remember in jQuery used to like this. This is that, and this is the ID of text, ID of element, and dot value. I think you remember this one if you are using jQuery.
Yes. Yeah, I know this one. Yeah.
So instead of this one, you have to use like this. So I'm consoling
Okay.
the. This will give the reference. I mean the DOM structure of that text box. DOM value. You can do any HTML. I mean we'll have some inner text value on everything, right? So that same thing can use here. This dot may text dot native element dot value. Let's see. Read. Okay, this one, right? You go to console. This read text box, and this is a value. I'll enter now. See, value is this is a value. So this is how we can read the text box values. But in extensively and for day-to-day life on this, as for the Angular standards, we'll not use this fashion. We'll be having this forms, okay? But I'm giving you a option. We can read only for text box wherever we are not using the forms. In that cases, if you want to read particular text box, we can do like this. So you have to create any HTML value. For example, this for used for this one. Okay, now I'll be using same this for p tag as well. So I'll update. I will display some content dynamically to this one. Okay, let's see my text as well. What is this? My text different for several times, so I'll be commenting this. Okay. See, this is how the tool will helping us to avoid logical errors. Now there is no content. Now what I'll go to my this component, and on button click event, so I'm dumping some value to that p tag. Okay, my text and native element dot inner text, some dynamic value. Some console, my text is different. Is resolved, right? My text. Okay, yeah. So this read. Okay, see, I'm dumping some dynamic text to p tag. This is my p tag, and this text is coming for dynamically. You can use for inner HTML, I guess, as well. Okay, use inner HTML. I'm just dumping input text. You can. What is expected here? Something. No, I guess. Okay. Okay, I missed it. I will delete console. Okay, I don't want to click. See, this is injected dynamically in the p tag. So currently I'll reload it. I'll select some p tags. Yeah, p tags, and see this content. At the moment I press button, the HTML text box is getting rendered with this node. So this is how we can inject dynamically to the HTML. This is one of the feature of view child. Okay, this is the syntax for that. Now what else? So we have covered element ref, view child, ng switch, pipe. Before going to pipe will cover later. So I'll explain the services and this one. After that, we'll go to pipe last. Okay, sorry. Services are basically uh, the injectable component in Angular, and it helps to maintain some state of the component. So I'll explain how to create a service now. Example, for more information, you can just search services here. What is services? Service. No explanation. Singleton services. This one. So it will create only one instance at the application runtime. It will not create multiple instances and will not allow to create multiple instances of the same services. This is the syntax for that. So a singleton service for which only one instance exists inside the entire app. So this is very important to maintain the states of the application, because the multiple components can use same services. I'll show you that how that concept I can explain here. But now I will show you what is the service and how to create it and how to inject that service inside a component or module. Okay. Okay, now I'll use ng yes service. S for G for generate, S for service, and I will use name is util service. Okay, util. So that's it. I think you have to use inside app. Okay, now I'll execute that command. Let's see where it will get create. Okay, it is created inside app. See here it is corrected, okay, generated. Okay, I will minimize this and see this is a syntax of creating a service, and it created its own unit testing file that is called util.service.spec. See, I have mentioned only util, and ng CLI, it will add the prefixes for that particular type of file. So at the time of creating a component, I'll use ng gc, the only component name. So the rest of the things will be created by the ng CLI. So here, while creating a service, I'll use just ng generate service and the service name. That's all. It will create it. Now see where all it is getting injected. So now it is created here and its own spec file, and see here we have provided in root, means this service is available entire application. Okay, I can use that service anywhere in the application. So that is the reason we have provided here root.
Okay.
Now here, so I will just give an example here in this constructor left, and what add add number. Okay, 11. Now here I can A comma B and return. So this can be used like this service. Okay. Now I'll show you how to use it. So I'll create one more component. Okay, because that is creating a lot of problems to, the confusion to you. ng gc, what will be the component? General. Okay, component name is general. Okay, general component is created. So I'll use this here, and I'll be pasting inside my app component or app component HTML. I'll comment all these things. Okay, to it is creating confusion for us. So I'll be injecting this component to C now. See, only one component is available, that is general now. If you see this, inspect it. So inside the app component, I've injected app general. See, app general is injected. So this rest of the things have commented, hence you are not able to see any data here. Now in this app, sorry, in general component, I'm injecting a service. So this is how we can create a service instance inside a component. Okay, I'll show you that. So private, okay, and util service. This is a custom defined name. You can use whatever name you want, but here, so this is automatically injected here by pressing that enter button. Okay, here now I have created instance of that service. Okay, inside HTML, now I'll delete this. Okay, I'll write a div tag, and I will use button here. Okay, sum, and click event. Okay, on sum. This is a method name. Okay, here I'll define that method. So now I'm returning to console. Okay, I need to pass two variable, two number to that method. Okay, I'm using this dot util service dot. I have add method. Okay, I'm passing two variable now, 2, 3. Okay, and which returns me a return value. So I'm consoling it. Console dot log sum of 2, 3, and I am storing into a constant variable some value. This dot util service dot, I'll cut and paste this. And some value in printing. So here I make use of service, and which is helping me to create some utility method. So this is one of the use of service. Let's see the output. Okay, we'll go to console. The moment I press sum, see sum of 2, 3 is 5. Correct. So this is how we can use the service. Change to 3, 3 now. So now it looks easy, but it helps you a lot at the time of enterprise application development. The service important. So usage of service will be huge in the big project. So this is one of the use of the service. Now, I'll go to this one where inside my service. Okay, I'll add it here. Console.log service init. Okay, see, only one. At the moment I press it, see, it is not recreating instance of the service. At the time of application initialization, it is creating its instance. Means it is initializing only one time. It is not initializing multiple time. At the moment we create an instance of that service inside a component. See here, this is very, this is called singleton service. Means it will not reinitialize multiple times. It is initialized only one time. Is this clear?
Yes, Vittal. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm able to follow.
Okay. Thank you. So next, what else? What is the use of the service again here? I think you saw a difference here, right? See, it is initialized only one time, and at the moment I create it, so on press event of the button, this method is getting initialized, and I'm accessing the variable, I mean the instance of that service, which is created here. it's supposed to create, if it's not a singleton service, it could have create a multiple instance of that service. In that case, we are not able to maintain the state of the application. But here it is creating only one time. That is called singleton service. And it is helping us to maintain the state. State means I will explain little later. Whenever the application grows us, so we'll be facing some issue with the state, because we'll be having different state of the application. Okay, the UI state and the service state and the DOM state. In that cases, the service will help many times. Okay, in many way the service will help us. Now this is one of the use case of the service, and if you read the explanation of the service for root pattern. Hmm. Suppose, for example, you have some configuration related, like suppose while developing application, you might have need some configuration. All the configuration can be stored in the service. That is second use case. And third use case, whenever we are making this one HTTP call or AJAX call or a backend call, in that case also we have to use services. What else here? The services. Okay, the third use case, we can pass the data between two siblings component. Now I'll be creating two component now. Okay, N G C sibling one, sibling two. Okay, now sibling one, sibling two is created. I'll be closing this. I will inject the sibling one, sibling two here. Okay, sibling one, sibling two. Now I'll go to sibling one component. Here I'll enter some, add some div. Okay, sibling one and sibling two component. Now we are in situation to pass data from this guy to this guy. Okay, for that I'll be creating one variable inside a service. Okay, yesterday you might have seen this one, right? Like public, and here one more. Okay, we can create a method, like private method also we can create. Okay, this is by default the return type is public, and we can create private show sum on this and okay, a comma b, and I'll be reading this value. Okay, I'll be explaining another concept. Okay, I'll explain that component communication little later. Here I'm explaining what is the difference between private and public. So this is a private. Okay, and I'll go to general component again. So I'm trying to service, go to service. Here it is private. Okay, and public. This is how we can maintain the encapsulation in the Angular. See, now this is showing the property add is private and only accessible within a class utility service. So I'll be using show some here. So this is how we can protect data from accessing from the external world. Is this clear? There's a difference between the private and public members inside the service.
Yeah.
And even we can create members, private properties, public properties, private method and public methods. We can create like private some variable as one here. Okay, and this can be accessed only inside the class, not outside of the class. So now I'll come back to a point that how we can share the data between two components which are in the same level. So I'll be using what the public share data equal to new event emitter. Let's see, this is not from this one, should be from this one. Event emitter. Be commenting like this. So I'll be injecting inside this service in sibling one component. Okay, private. I can use any name. This is my custom defined name, but I have to use that proper class name here till service. Okay, so I'm creating one button here. Button send data. Okay, click. Send. This is my method name. Okay, now define that. Click event of that. Then this dot util dot share data dot next. Okay, I'm sending some data. Data is being shared from sibling component 1. Now I need to read this data. So there are two ways. So one, I can go to this app component, I can add it here, but I don't want to alter this structure. I'll go to sibling 2 component, and here on ng on init or something. Now we can use the different concept here. Sibling 1, you can emit the data. So let me read that service private same util service. Okay, we injected it. Engine is already injected. Use, let's see the on changes if I'm able to use. On changes on more life cycle will be explained in the next class. As of now, you can just this dot util service dot say data dot subscribe. Okay, this is the data. Console dot log data. Okay, so subscribe. Let's see the output. I'm sending data. Nothing is happening. document list. Go to sibling. Okay, sibling one component. Okay, this is getting triggered. But why I'm not able to receive? Okay, this is already initialized. Ng on changes, ng of webnet. What changes we have to make here? Can I do this here? Component? No. Can do this. Sibling one component, sibling two component. Can it holds here, but I'm going to do it through app component. Sibling one, sibling two, I emitted data. Okay, on click went on send. Say dot error next. Okay, I agree on send. Coming back to this component, ng on changes will not detect that changes that it has been sent the data, but someone should notify to the Angular component something has changed to this one. Ng do changes. Do check. Let me check. Let's see. I'm trying to use different life cycles for that component. Let's see. Yeah. See, through ng do check, I am receiving the data, but this is not a correct way. I'll comment this. Okay, just try to this. Send it. Think it is executing multiple times. So this is not the correct way, because someone has to notify to this component that something is changed, which is which related to this component. I'll be searching another option for this. Util service or RxJS. RxJS I can use. No, I don't think. Okay, let me search into it. How to share data between data between sibling components in Angular 6. Button one component 3.2, that's fine. Component 1, component 2. Not parent, I don't need parent here. That's not share data into sibling components in Angular. RxJS you can use. This is employee service on service. Startup, create startup. This was not easy. Parent and child we shared yesterday, but the thing is we want to share data between these two. Two components on the same level. Sibling 1, sibling 2, this is here, and I can send to app component, but I don't need it. Here I can use constructor. Let's see this way it works. Okay. Here I'll be injecting private util service. Here I'll use ng on changes, implement ng on changes, various ng on changes. Okay, and here console.log data. This dot util, not here, not console. I don't need console here. This dot util, sorry, util dot field data dot subscribe console.log app data. Local variable data. Okay, and I'll explain this if it works. Let's see. I'm just trying a different option so that you can aware about. Like currently I'm trying to emit a data from this app component, and I'll try to receive with the parent, the parent component is, then after that I'm sending to sibling 2. Let's see if it works, then I'll explain that concept. Send not ng on chains also not detecting. Okay, what emitted data here from sibling 2. Otherwise I can go to my service, public service, or let's see whether it works. Public, yesterday we used it at output, and send data is equal to new event emitter. Send data I can use in the sibling 1 component. This dot util dot send data. And come back to sibling 2 or about a component. No. Then this is the best method. Okay, we'll have this concept. I'll explain that little later. So we'll continue the topic piping. Okay, this I will explain that later. Okay, is that fine?
Yeah, that is fine.
Okay, yeah. So now I'll be halting the sharing data between the two components which are on the same level. Now I'm moving to a different concept called pipe. So pipe are basically the custom feature of Angular which can transform your HTML data into a different format. Suppose for example you are displaying some list here, user list. Okay, I will be so currently I'll go to again parent dot users. Okay, I will comment all these things in this one and create one more new component ngc list user list service ngc user list. It is creating and I'm copy pasting some object from user component which is already there here. Countries, or I'll be creating a new component, new variable. Go to user list. Okay, and I'm minimizing this. Here I'm creating public users. Otherwise, I can use this one. So you get to know the usage of service. Okay, here I'll be creating public users, and here is an array. Here creating name user one and age some 30. Okay, these two properties are fine. So I'm trying to create this one, two, okay. User 2, user 3, user 4, 30, 40, 50, and 30. Okay. I'm injecting this service into my new component. Here again, same thing, private util and service, injected it. And here I'm creating a local variable. My users of type is equal to initial array. Now in ng on net, I'll be reading that this dot util dot what this dot I'm assigning my users to this one. This dot I'm assume that I'm returning from source users. Okay, my users, this is a local object of this component. I'll be using ul li. Okay, again I'm using structural directive to repeat that array. Let user of users, my users, right, the local variable, correct, my users, I'm assigning array from the service. Okay, that's fine. Now I'm going to, so user dot name. Okay, let's see, here I need to inject that component inside my parent component. This is app user list. Okay, okay, user 1, user 2, user 3 are getting displayed. Now I need to convert this into uppercase. Okay, so what I will do, I'll be creating a pipe. That pipe is basically which iterate on each object which is passed to that pipe and transfer to a different data. This basically pipes are helping us to transfer from one format to another format. Okay, I'll show how to use it. So for that, I need to create a pipe first. NGGP. What is the name? Uppercase. I'll use just for as of now. I'll use uppercase. NGGP. Okay, pipe is created. So we can go to here pipe, and this is syntax of default pipe section. Pipe syntax. See, let's see values, and so here the pipe is basically the decorative which is written in the Angular core, and pipe transform is basically a separate class which we are implementing that class using this uppercase class. Okay, and transform is basically the default method which we have to write it. Now transform, now I need to write. So here in the value I am returning it. I'll just see the console.log for that as of now. For console.log, what are the value it is comes. Okay, value. This is my value, and this pipe is getting injected in which are the places. See, which is injected in app module. Okay, to make use of this pipe in across application, it is injected in the app module, which is a root module of the application, and in the declaration it is injected. Now how to use that pipe in our HTML. Okay, now it is, if you import this pipe in this app module, now we can use this pipe across the application. Now I'll go to my HTML, that user list. So here I will operate on top of this pipe. You have to use the pipe symbol. Then after that, pipe name is which we have created recently. This one. This is my pipe name. Okay, uppercase. Where is my HTML user list? Here I can use like this, uppercase. Let's see what is the console log statement. You can see value. It is coming like this. So we are receiving each object of that array. Correct. So if you see the pipe, so it is directly sending entire list of array. Now I will be converting to uppercase. So do you have any method which I can convert in JavaScript to an uppercase? String operation. Let's see. Where's the pipe? Go to pipe. So instead of returning a null, I'll use value to uppercase. Do you know the to convert string into uppercase method?
In the JavaScript.
Yeah, convert to uppercase in JavaScript. Yeah, uppercase we have to uppercase. I think we don't have, is it? Yeah, we have to uppercase. Okay, value dot to uppercase. Uppercase is not a function. Okay, then we have a single uppercase sentence. Okay, sorry, I forgot it. See, we are receiving, you got it? We are receiving the object here, okay, of that type, this one. So I'm directly transferring to that entire object. So instead of that one, user list, go to this, and what I will do, go to this pipe, value dot name property. uppercase. Let's see. No, no, first of all. You want that method? Where data is equal to str to uppercase. No, we have right. To uppercase we have, but what happened here? Mm, we yet to receive as an object here, value arguments, and mhm. The thing we can use like this here. This I'm operating on this one. Let's see if I operate, what happens. Sorry, should not use here. We use that is an array. Select user. Here we can use, for example, li. It should not iterate with on top of array. It should be operate on each element of that array. See pipe. Next, pipe name string. Angular 4 to lowercase. Okay, I can use directly. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Okay, okay, sorry. My bad. User 2. Sorry, here to go to this pipe. Sorry, my pipe here. I need to directly on the value, not on the name property, because I was receiving as array here. No, I don't receive. Now see, you're able to see user 1, user 2, user 3 on the uppercase. So I was using on top of the array. So hence I'm not able to convert into an array object directly into uppercase. So rather than I'm using that pipe on top of my this one, the here on the each element of that. So this is a pipe name, and it is reading this value name and sending that value to this pipe. This is basically a util method where it will convert your one string format to another string format. This is uppercase. So is it clear?
Yes.
So if you want to pass this one some parameter to this pipe, okay, suppose for example I have to convert only this one user 1 only to uppercase. Rest of the things I don't need. So what I'll do, I think I have to use like this, pass uppercase like this. Next I'm trying colon. The name of that should be where util service. Go to util service age or id again. Let's see. I'll use id. sum1. Okay, then I'll use just string integer id1 and id2, id3 and id4. Okay, just I'm here to explain how to transfer this one value to this one. Particular element should be transfer and the rest of the thing should not be. I can transfer directly user object. I think I'll transfer. Let's see whether I'm able to read that object or not. This entire user object and transferring to this uppercase pipe. I'll go to the pipe method. Uppercase pipe. Here I have arguments. Let me console that first. Console.log arg equal to args. Let's see what happens first. Yes, I'm able to receive user as a string, but I don't need the string. So rather than I need my user list, entire. Okay, I'll just transfer like this. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm receiving that object. So now I'll be transferring only one if that ID has one. Okay. Go to pipe. Util uppercase dot pipe. Okay. Now I'll put a condition. If arguments, what I'm receiving argument here, an array. Okay, that's fine. 2 pipe argument. This is an array. Okay, of 0. Now of 0 and id it is equal to 1. Okay, then only it will convert to uppercase. Rest of things are not. Otherwise, what I'll do? Else I'll return as it is value. Okay, this is just a logic.
Yeah.
What is the output? See, only one object is converted to uppercase, but rest of the things are not converted. So this is how we can use the pipe. So pipe usage is very much in terms of converting data from one format to other format, converting to uppercase. Only you need some part of information to be converted to a different format. That in that case, we can use the pipe. So for more information, you can read the pipes here. Okay, what is pipe? You can read it. Every application starts out with something. You read the description, you will able to get. So here I've explained the two things here. So how we can make use of pipe on converted data which are already displayed to the user, and I need to convert into a different format, and how to transfer an argument to the pipe like this with dot colon notation. This pipe is to use after each element. Okay, this pipe name, and this is the argument I'm passing it.
Okay.
This is clear?
Yeah.
Okay, that sharing data, we'll see that tomorrow. I'll explore that and I'll get back to you on that. Okay, because it has multiple ways. I'm finding a similar and simpler way we can use in the enterprise application or the big application.
Okay, fine. That is fine.
Yeah. Do you have any doubts? Let me make a list of all the doubts and we'll clear if you have any doubts. Otherwise, we'll be continue for the next classes.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So shall we wind up now?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.